Today I messed up and now I'm going insane. Obligatory. This was a few days ago. I went to Japan for vacation and I experienced something so odd and off-putting that it cannot be felt with just words. I'm still conflicted about this to this day. I don't know what the universe was trying to tell me with this one. But I'll try anyway. During the latter half of the trip, me and my family went to a store to buy some gifts for the rest back at home. We were there for about 15 to 20 minutes looking around and I was looking down at some table, daydreaming about doing anything else because I was bored. All of a sudden I hear some girl yell my name from a small distance to my right. I'm not even sure at this point, and I felt that I could recognize this voice from someone that went to my high school, who just so happened to have seen me there, from how surprised she sounded. And not having thought much of it, I looked up and to my right. And to my shock and horror, it wasn't anyone who I expected it to be. I looked up and saw a group of 5 schoolgirls, some hunched over, in a cramped aisle. Some were smiling and some were giggling towards my direction. And as I began to phase out of reality, I could almost swear that I heard one say, "It's him." At that point I was dazed and bewildered beyond reason as my heart sank even further. God, what great prank of yours have you brought on me? Why are they so excited to see me? A short side tangent, I've heard experiences of people who've had their names called by someone who definitely shouldn't have known them, but experiencing this firsthand is a new fear I've never felt and never want to feel again. I looked back down, petrified. How does one of them know my name and why me? Maybe I was hearing things. There was an aisle to my left beyond me, where they might have been looking at, and I thought about checking that direction, to know if they were calling someone else that had a name that I might have confused with mine. I looked to my left and no one was there. Maybe the person left and they'd be gone or at least not staring at me anymore. My neck and head was paralyzed, so all I could do was slightly tilt my head and roll my eyes all the way up. Light-headed with my heart beating beyond my chest, my suspicions were confirmed. They were still staring at me and I saw they were still staring at me. One had her hand covering her mouth talking to another one gossiping God knows what. What do they want from me? My legs were on the verge of giving up as I looked back down for a couple of seconds and then back up to check to see if I was actually going insane. And yet, there they were, still looking at me. After this I looked back down, not being able to move a muscle, hoping they would go away. After about a minute or so of frantically assessing what was going on, I look back up and they're gone. Like an apparition. I went around the store and gone they were. All of this took place over the matter of a minute or so. We eventually left the store, but I began recounting the events and my head was all over the place trying to connect the dots. I've never been so dazed and fear-stricken by something before. I tried to convince myself that it wasn't real or I was just blowing it out of proportion, but I simply could not explain away the fact that they were staring at me intently. All I could think is that I shouldn't have folded like that because now I'll never know who yelled my name. I attempted to figure out and remember if there might be someone who I might have met who would know my name, and there might be one person, but the chances are so slim, that if it were that person, the only thing would have gotten from that, is that universe wants to mess with me. Something like this has never happened before and maybe thereafter. I was so scared and embarrassed, and I could have avoided all of this ruminating if I'd just attempted to reciprocate attention, and now this moment haunts me every day.